All right, folks, back on the Bossman show, friend of the show, Coach Mike Morrell. UNC Asheville Bulldogs out of the Big South, currently 6-2 in Big South play. Got a big game come up this week against Winthrop. What's up, Mike? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, boss man?
I'm great, man. Good to have you on the show again. I know we had a tough game the other night, man, but I'm glad you're still doing the show today, despite all that happening, man.
Nah, man. I'm not gonna let one loss deter us too much. You got to kind of have amnesia a little bit once you watch the game film, try to move on because our league's really deep this year and the next opponent's gonna be really good. And if you're not ready, they'll beat you.
No doubt. And what I have seen, Brother Mike, is, man, you all found your groove in Big South play, man. Let's talk about kind of what clicked out the non-league for your team for as a gelling together, becoming more connected and getting playing well doing your conference play, man, you said, a very deep league.
Yeah, I mean, first off, we played a really tough non-conference schedule, I should say, and we our league also went from 18 games last year to 16 games, so we played two more non-conference games, and yeah, we had some really good wins. Appalachian State, Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State over your way. We had some really good non-league wins, and we won three in a row right before Christmas. So I felt like we're playing well towards the back end of our non-conference schedule. And then, we've, two losses in league play have came to High Point, who's undefeated in our league, and to them on the road by a couple buckets, and then to Gardner Webb the other night, who's tied with us for second in the league. So we just got to continue to try to, control what we can control with the understanding we're going to be imperfect, but we've got an old team. We got a deep team, and so these next eight games, now that we've seen everybody's going to be critical.
No doubt. Like you said, there's no secrets anymore on synergy. We all know what we're running, so it's all about execution. And like you said, having a veteran team in February and March is so important where they understand how to read a scout the right way, understand game plan discipline the right way, understand how to do little things. So about there, brother Mike, a little bit more about how having a veteran team where you can really know going the second time through, these guys will really be prepared even more now.
Yeah, I mean, again, we got four starters back from last year, so that helps. Little things like terminology and these guys knowing the other players on these big South teams helps just from saving some time. You're not out there at this time of the year, at least we're not out there for 2.5 hours just killing each other. Um, we're really trying to lock into what the plan is for each game. And so with Winthrop, it's our biggest rival in the league, without question. And, this is an opportunity for us, really they're a game behind us to potentially put some separation. But they know that too, so their motivation is going to be the same thing on the other side, especially since we won, versus them really just 2 weeks ago. So, again, you got to have amnesia in this league, in really any league in Division I basketball, whether you win or lose, because if you're riding high too long, you'll get knocked off, and that happened to us a little bit the other night at Gardner Webb.
No doubt, man. I'm asking kids, man, brother Mike, like what you all playing so many close games, having a veteran group again that helps as well because you're not both know you can't for somebody that really the right way in practice. It happens in a
Yeah.
live game, man. And so playing these close games and coming out on the right side of them sometimes you're not. Be able to go to the film and teach and learn from that. So as the games are more important, you come down this stretch here. Talk about that piece of it as well, trying to get learning those how to play close games, learning to win these games, and having a veteran group that helps you do that.
Yeah, well, I think one thing I've learned with this group is just as important as the practice time is on the floor. They really learn from film and from sitting down in a classroom setting and talking and developing a plan, and that comes from having a veteran group, which we're lucky to have. Um, and so, I think you can be a little more unique with the more experience that you have. Um, and so, we're fortunate to have that in the same breath. There's like Winthrop's extremely old as well, extremely experienced. So they have the luxury of the same thing. And I think that's why you're seeing so many close games in our league. And you're seeing some of these teams that were maybe picked at the top, some teams that were maybe picked at the bottom. Everybody's kind of, with the exception of High Point, and a lot of credit to them to the start that they've had. A lot of teams are beating up on each other here. I believe, up until this point, I think there's four teams with a winning record out of nine. So it's a tough league. And again, you better be ready to go, or you're going to be disappointed.
And I don't think fans realize how close the margins are, brother Mike. Like, it's really possessions here and there.
Yep.
It's just how close these games are from win to loss. So that's why those small, intangible things like the blockouts, knowing your rotations, having that scout discipline, all those small things that fans don't think about, that you and I think about, are so key to winning games. With being so margins so thin.
Yeah, I mean, we had it at Charleston Southern, found a way to win. We had it at Gardner Webb, didn't. We led by 9 with I think 8-9 minutes to go. Had the ball down 1 at High Point, chance to take the lead, and didn't get it done there. But then again at Longwood at home, same thing, and found a way to win. So the teams with the better records, obviously, for the most part, are finding a way to get those games done. And we went 16-2 in the league last year. Same thing. We kind of found a way to win those games. And two, you got to steal some. You got to go on the road and you got to steal some. And we kind of feel like we did that versus Winthrop. Had a chance to do that versus Gardner Webb. 5 of our first 8 games in the league, Bossman, are on the road. And so now we're hopefully have the luxury of 5 out of 8 at home and 4 out of our next 5. But that doesn't guarantee you anything, I can assure you.
Oh, no doubt. But I was asking you about how was it playing in Montreal, man, playing in Canada. I know you guys got the big wins up there. So tell me about how it was up there for you guys go out of the country, go to Canada, see Montreal where they speak more French than English. How cool was that for you and the team?
Well, it was cold as hell. It's up there. I'd never been to Montreal, been to Canada, but not been to Montreal. So, that trip, started off with a game against Lipscomb, and they beat us up pretty good. They played a great game, and then we were able to come back and find a way to beat Wofford without Drew Pember, and then beat Western Kentucky by 10. Which was a huge win for us, against a team that's a little bit higher level than us, but it was fun, man. They were great crowds. In terms of an NTE event that I have played in since I've been a head coach here at Asheville, by far the best attended. I mean, it was really, really impressive how many people were there, and it was an NBA-esque type of arena. Obviously a hockey arena, so it was a little chilly in there, but
no doubt.
Overall, a great experience for our team.
And brother Mike, man, you got 4 guys in double figures with Drew leading the way. So talk about having that balanced squad attack with Drew leading the way and not letting defenses key in on Drew all the time. Have other guys who can score the ball, make sure that ball moves and pops, so other guys get touches, so they'll defend hard on the other end of the floor, so they get some touches. Be able to know they will get ultimately score the basketball as well.
Yeah. Josh Banks has really helped us there. He's our second leading scorer. He's been a real punch in terms of that for us. Can really shoot the basketball. Fletcher Aby's upped his production from last year. And then Nick McMullen has done the same for us. And, we've had some guys like Toyaz Solomon who've really came on for us of late, and is going to continue to do that as we move forward. So, I mean, it's Drew's had some big games, but then he's had some games where, he's really moved the ball around. He had a triple-double versus App. Josh Banks had 30-some in that game. So Fletcher's had games. You speak of Canada, Fletcher was terrific in Canada. So we've had those guys who have in their own right had really good production this year. And so it's good to see 4 guys in double figures, and then a guy like Caleb Burgess who really moves the ball around. So we just got to continue to grow, man. And again, you're only guaranteed nine games now, and so it's amazing that we're already to February, but it's where we are.
No doubt. Also, you're doing a good job on the glass too. We talk about how important the glass is for rebounding the ball defensively in the possession, starting to get out of transition as well. And on offense, crashing the glass with your 3, 4s, and 5s. Make sure you get some opportunities to get more scoring done on that end of the floor as well, for the Mike.
Yeah, we've grown in that. I don't love where we've been the last few games with that. You know, it's a big area, a point of emphasis from us. Even at Charleston Southern, I thought we did a poor job there. We won the game, but you got to be, you got to look at reality and see where you got to grow even in your wins. And we did a great job the other night at Gardner Webb until we didn't. In the last 8 minutes, it really bit us. Did a great job in the first 32 minutes, but you got to finish the game, and that was one of the key things that Gardner Webb was able to do late in that game was get second chance points. So we've got a big team, an athletic team, and if we want to compete for a championship, we've these next 8 games we've got to be better than we have the last few.
No doubt. You're also doing a good job on 20 turnovers on 2012 a game, which is limited, down. Especially we don't want to live balls, of course, but
Yep.
you only having 12 a game is good. I think you want to probably get that down a little bit less than like more
Yeah.
like 9, not 12. But for how important it is having those guys who not turning the ball over, having these guys who understand the value of the ball and how the ball is everything, and not throwing it away and getting you in conflict and runouts, transition as well.
Yeah, we've grown from that from last year offensively. Probably the biggest thing that we've done in terms of growth is taking care of the ball. We've had our games where we've been better, had our games where we struggled with that. Last game we weren't good enough versus Gardner Webb, was a really good defensive team. So yeah, like rebounding, man, it's a huge point of emphasis. And then when it plagues you, man, it really, really plagues you. And, unfortunately for us, last game, both of those did in times where we needed to be really solid with the ball. So Caleb Burgess really, he leads that for us. He's done a great job for the most part this year. And Drew as well, because Drew handles the ball so much. So again, you want to compete for a championship, you better rebound and you better take care of the ball.
And also with the new rule change, Mike, this year, man, about the secondary defenders not getting charges. How are you trying to talk defense this year more? Just make sure guys are more on the ball, getting in front of the ball earlier. They'll still give you the own ball charges, but not the secondary defenders. So how
Yeah.
have you kind of talk differently this year for your schemes to kind of just say, hey, put a wall up, hands to the sky, and not try to try to draw a target that ain't gonna call this
Yeah, this is why I like coming on this show because you ask those, those are really good questions that, most people don't really don't see or talk about. But it's twofold for us because we were a really good secondary charge taking team. So it's limited some of the stops that we've been able to get that we have in the past, just because you got to tell your guys, guys, unless you're standing there for a couple seconds, you ain't getting this call. And one thing I thought, I do think that our officials coordinator this year did a good job of getting us prepared for that, how just monumental of a rule change that was going to be. And then, the on the ball charges are still there, but I think those are limited a little bit because when you tell them to quit taking them over here, and they kind of stop taking them on the ball as well. And so
year.
it started to really affect that charge as well. And so, yeah, I mean, on the other end, a lot of people tried to take charges on Drew Pember last year that were successful, that were, to me, were really 50-50. So that on that side, it's helped us. But, hey, man, I'm all for it. It's a bang, bang call that's really, really hard to get right.
No doubt, man. And like you said, man, now this is about being even more solid and being even more in tune to your schemes where you need to be. Being in the right place is more important than ever now. You can't get a late, sign over late and get some. You have to really be in your spot, know your rotations even more than we used to in the past because you're not getting that call, though.
Yep, no doubt. No, you're exactly right.
No doubt. But, man, Brother Mike, man, I hope we do this again in March like we did before, man. We go to the big dance, I'll be cheering for as always, man. Like I said, keep up good work, man. I was doing our chats, man. We hope to do this again in a few weeks or so, brother.
Okay, man. Appreciate you, man.
Anytime, brother. I'll see you soon, brother.
Okay.
All right.